Hello everyone and welcome to another Zenphi tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how easy it can be to build an interactive dashboard for your Zenphi flows. Whether it's for an approval process, NDA request for example, leave request, or any other process that you want to be able to keep track of, I'm going to be showing you how easy it can be to build out a dashboard for yourself and your team. Step number 1 will be to create a Zenphi table. You can add different columns depending on what you need, like for example here we have file name, requester, expiration category. If you click add column, you can select what type of column you want, name it. So whether you want it to be a date, an attachment, you can create your table to fit your needs. And then within your actual flow, you can use our Zenphi table actions, like for example create record, to be able to add them to your Zenphi table, and then at the different stages of the approval process, you can use something like update record to be able to update, let's say, the status. When we initially add it to the table, the status is waiting for review, but if we take a look after it's sent for approval, if it's approved, we'll then change the status once again to approved. And if it's rejected, we'll also change the status to rejected. So you can use the create and update action for your records to make sure that the status is updated as soon as you want it to. Now let's say you have a couple submissions, you have some records in your table already, you want it to be organized so that it's easier for your team to actually be able to look at the data, analyze it. You can easily create a new dashboard page by heading over to this menu and clicking on Create New Page. Now in this page we have two different types of widgets. There's different widgets that you can choose from, whether it's a pie chart, a grid, Kanban, etc. So up at the top I'm using a grid widget. Now if I go here to edit, and it would be the exact same process if you want to add a new widget, click Add Widget and then select Grid, you would get the same view. So what you need to do first is name the widget title. You can choose if you want to show the title or not, if you want it to have a border. Now the data source is going to be the table that it's pulling the information from. So here you would select whatever Zenphi table contains your information. Depending on the columns that you have, you'll be able to see them all here. You can choose if you want to add more, if there's any that you want to omit. It really depends on the view you want to have in your table. You can choose if you want to give people the ability to add records directly from the dashboard, edit them, delete them, and you can even add action buttons. Action buttons allow you to be able to either go to a detail page or even start a new flow. So let's say you have a flow that starts whenever an action button is pushed, and that automatically maybe sends reminders to different people, or maybe it sends certain emails. You can customize your flow that way as well. You can choose if you want to auto size, and then here is where it gets interesting. You can add different filters to choose what you want to see. So what you need to do is add different conditions. So in this case, I'm only showing the ones that are equal to waiting for review, meaning I'm only going to see whatever is pending. If I were to remove this condition altogether, I would see all of the different records available. So essentially this is my entire table. But I'm able to add different widgets, whether it's maybe by requester. So if you only want the requester to see their specific details, you can do requester equal to. If you click on the token picker, you can even choose the email address, meaning you're only going to be able to see the ones that you requested. This is going to ensure that you're only seeing the information that pertains to you, and the same thing could be done if you change it from requester to something like approver. If you're the person that needs to approve, you can change it to the email address, and now you only have whatever you have pending for review as well. Down at the bottom, I have a Kanban widget. All you have to do is choose a grouping status. This can be anything that has a column as a single select. So you're able to display the different groups, for example. If you only want to choose maybe what's approved and waiting for review and rejected, you can remove this one. You can choose what columns you want to show in each of these cards, once again if you want them to add, edit, or delete. And you can also add action buttons here as well. Feel free to add conditions. You can choose how you want to sort the widget as well. So this can really help you take your process to a new level. Now for this next tab that we have, this is essentially just a URL widget. So here you're able to display a specific URL. So you can put the URL to the form, that way they can easily go to the dashboard and submit a file for review. Now for my submitted files, it's very similar to what I showed previously, where you can choose the grid widget, choose what columns to display, and then you can filter by request or equal to user email, and the same goes to the one at the bottom. Now this one has the exact same condition, but we've also added a second condition where the status is rejected. So if you want the person to only see the ones that they need to modify, for example, you can do that. If you want to change it maybe to approve so that they can see only the ones that pertain to them and have been approved, you can add multiple conditions in just one widget as well. Now for this last tab, this is for the approvers. Now, by indicating that the status needs to be equal to waiting for review and the approver is equal to the user email, this means they're only going to see the ones first that pertain to their email address listed as the approver, but secondly, anything waiting for review, they're not going to see anything they've already approved or rejected, and they're not going to see anything that's waiting for approval by their colleague. So this is really going to ensure that they have a spot where they can easily see everything that's pending for them and them only. If you have any questions regarding dashboards, make sure to leave them in the comments. This is a huge tool that I'm sure most Zenphi users are not taking advantage of, so make sure you do, and if you have any questions, let us know in the comments.